advanced mode. I'm going to do it in the canyon on Grand Drift. I'm looking at building a NASCAR oval inspired track, but I don't think I'm going to have a simple oval. But we'll see. You never really know how these are going to turn out. You have an idea in your head, but that doesn't mean you can necessarily translate it to the track builder. Some of the modes allow you to do different things. Some of them not so much. So let's see what we can do. Alright, so a big issue with advanced mode are the menus. As you can see, the menus take up a lot of space. On the smaller pieces, like your starting points, your finish lines, your checkpoints, it's not that big of a deal. They tend to be centered, and you can see just fine. I am going to do a multi-lap. So this isn't going to be a giant track. But with that said, it doesn't mean it's not going to get a little complicated. One, to build, it's definitely going to be complicated. This will not be a smooth process. There will be a lot of testing, a lot of deleting. You'll see the process of building a track. Now, I'm not going to build some crazy track on a video, because that can take hours. This should being the operative word, be a pretty simple process, but we'll see what actually happens. I'm not so sure it's going to be that simple. Now, with it being a lap race, you actually have to go through the finish line each time. The issue with that on an oval style track, that means you're going to have to come down to the finish line, because there's not a finish line, start line that is at an angle. Push R3, you'll zoom in, start building up the track. So I am going to have pretty quickly, everyone's going to be up on an angle. Circle to delete. Go to the turbo. Obstacle is where you're going to find the walls, but on the Grand Drift in the canyon, there isn't a wall for the arena. So you have to go to actual wall. There's actually a category just for doing this stuff. Now the issue with using these as the wall, when you come off the top, which R1 to raise your piece, when you come off the top, it's actually not at a good angle, and you'll fly off. L1 to lower. As you see, I'm just pushing X quickly, and it's moving the piece where I need it. Building up walls like this, when you're not trying to make a complicated track, you're not trying to have them have to hit their brakes or oversteer or whatever in order to stay on the track, this gets tedious. You can actually spend days building a track in advanced mode and feel like you didn't get anywhere, because half of it is putting out decorations and stuff. So once you start, you're definitely going to want to test. You can spend a lot of time building this, And if you don't test it, all that time can be for nothing. Kind of like right now. Oh, damn it. L2 is undo, by the way. Right now, my issue is going to be how to do this turn. There is one of them. There is one of them that works really well for this stuff. But the biggest issue you're going to run into, especially building on night mode, is finding out where to put it. Because as you can see, if I put it there, it looks flush until you look over here. And you realize that's not flush at all, no matter where you put it. So what we're going to do, because that's obviously not going to work, we're going to use a different type of slope. So what I'm going to end up doing is going to take longer. And it's going to be, like I said in the beginning, it's going to cause this to be a bit more complicated. So when you hit a point where there's just no return, you don't want to go through and, I mean, you can literally just hold L2 and get rid of everything. But as you see, it's a little time consuming. You can go in, hit options, and hit new track, and it will just delete everything. And the thing is, we need to delete everything. But I showed you that anyways. You can clearly see where the track was. Gives you a little guideline. So we are looking for, if I can, as you see, it's not going to be happy no matter what you do. I bet I can do it with this. Let's see. I had originally wanted it to be arena because I could put the big walls on it. But so obviously when it's red, that means it's not going to fit. On Grand Prix, the red on the corner and the white on the other corner has to line up. Oh, that's an incline. Turn. Let's go for the incline on this. Go for slope. You see how that don't line up? It won't let you do it. But I do have an idea. I don't want that one. Something you'll notice, the more tracks you build, you'll get ideas, and what you start with very rarely is what you're going to finish. As you can remember, I said I wanted to do, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do a sloped oval. As you can see, this is not a sloped oval. Instead, I think I'm going to change this just a little bit. Oh, nope, leave that there. And then we're going to put a turbo there, because why not? Now, if I haven't built this too close, which I may have, because remember, this wasn't my original idea, I'll be able to do this. Now the longest part about building on advanced mode tends to be putting out the signs and the decorations. That might be too close, so let's cut one out. So this is what you're going to do if you want to do a jump. You need to be able to put a turn in. So you want to figure out the closest you can put the turn on the track. You also want to put checkpoints in various areas, but you definitely want to put those in last if you can. The reason I say that is I've had issues, and it may have been a glitch. Oh, I gotta move it over. But I put it in the right spot. That's really the important thing. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want just straight. So, As you can see, you can't connect that piece. Now, my issue is that I had the wrong starting piece in, I think. There we go. So my issue is I didn't have them lined up perfectly. That's an issue you'll run into. So now you're going to test. As this is a lap race, it's automatically set to 3. This is going to be the first of many lap races that I build. So I'm not sure if you can change that. I probably wouldn't. I think 3 is the perfect number for this. Ooh, look where I landed. See, that's going to be the difficult part on this. And this is why you want checkpoints. You don't want to have to start all the way over. The difficult part of this race is going to be landing there, because with it being Grand Prix, there's a lot of places you can land that's not going to end well for you. See, I'm also going to set it up to where if you land in the dirt, you can't get onto the track. Ooh, look at that. Now what I like about lap races, it gives everybody multiple chances to have a good lap to make up for lost time. So on test mode like this, it's never going to give you an actual time or count your laps or anything like that. It's literally just testing to make sure everything's working the way you want it to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that first chunk off, and I'm going to test it with some checkpoints. I'm going to put a checkpoint right before that booster and make sure that if I have to reset, I can still land. I feel we'll put an obstacle right there. Make it a little more interesting. Maybe put some hills underneath that jump. And see, I landed there again. Now the good thing is I will have stunt mode on this. So if that were to happen, I'll do it right there. Put a checkpoint, put a flat checkpoint, we'll go for a landscape. Go. And then as you can see, you can kind of build quite a bit of stuff here. The issue is it's going to be too tall to do that. Maybe. Let's give it a shot. It may be enough of a jump to clear that. But like I said, in this mode, in any mode, you're going to test a lot. Nope. See? That's all it takes. A little 10 seconds worth of testing. You remove it and you're good. From there, If you push down on your left stick, you can come around, and there's stuff you can build to kind of give some depth to your track. Kind of hard to see in night mode. No matter what you do, you want to make sure, no matter what you build, you're not blocking your finish line. The more you put in, the longer it's going to take, but the better your track will be. With enough time and practice, you can actually make it pretty much where once you come off, you are within inches of hitting several of them, kind of like how that last one was. And when you test, you don't just want to test from the last checkpoint. When you're testing something like that and clearances, you have to account for how much more speed you can get from the beginning and on the second lap than you do from just that checkpoint. Building tracks in this game is pretty easy. Even in advanced mode, it's not too bad. But there's definitely a lot of testing and a lot of things that can go wrong. Like that. See how I was going too fast for it. But that's easy enough. Push circle. Push it back a space. You want one there? Put one there. Test. Your decorations can take a simple track like this and make it one of the greatest tracks in the game. It's just based on where you put them and how you utilize them. In the old school games, we would actually build buildings. We would put buildings up as part of the race. Like, you have to bounce off this building. Well, I cleared it. You have to bounce off this building in order to land on this other piece of the track. It was extremely technical. It was a lot of fun. The challenge was less getting the best time and more completing the track. If you can complete the track and get a great time, then you were gold. It was awesome. Gosh, that is. I don't know why that little corner piece is there, but I like it. And it's going to add another bit of a challenge to this track. Because the track itself isn't very challenging. It's a simple oval. I'm not going to upload this yet because I do want to add more decorations and stuff like that. However, I wanted to show you guys kind of the basics of building a track in advanced mode. I definitely like that. Why is that there? What piece did I put there? Anyways, so that's going to be all for this video. I'm going to show you guys one more thing, and it's the validation process. You can validate it all you want. As long as you don't upload it, you can still edit it. Now, unlike the old school trackmania games, you can't delete it once it's been updated or uploaded, and you can't edit that specific track once it's been uploaded. You can upload the track and then go through and edit a version of it, but that's it. you can't go through and redo it or anything like that. So on advanced mode, it doesn't put the podium in, so you actually have to figure out where you want the podium, what sign you want on the podium, and where you want the podium, like which direction. You can only have one podium. I'll do a flying sign. Raise it up. Turn it. Use your left joystick to select what you want the sign to say. I want big jump. We'll throw a blimp up there because why not? I'll throw the fox on it. You can have signs everywhere if you want. Make them say whatever you want. They don't have to make sense. I wouldn't do directional signs unless you're putting in the correct directions. That tends to annoy people. And structures are a good way to add some depth to. You have walls you can add, railings. There's vegetation, because who doesn't like a couple happy trees? You can add cliffs, like right there, just to add more depth into your more basic structures. Oh, it's not else. You can use these cliffs as part of your racing. I'm not actually gonna do it just because it's not part of my racing. But right there. So as you see, you go into cliff. And you can drop underground. So let's undo that. You can drop underground. You can come above ground. Like that. It's really good for like dirt track racing and stuff. And there's turns. You can build entire tracks just built into the cliffs. So now I'm going to validate. I've got what I need. You can't validate until you have the podium. You can save it and come back to it later. I'll select the style. It's just going to be a race. Validate. You can apparently you can set the amount of laps. 1, 2, 3, however many laps you want based on, I guess, how long the track really is. This is kind of a short track. I'm probably going to have it on a 5 lap because each lap's only, what was it, 30-40 seconds. And I need it to fit in with the other lap tracks, so I need, we'll call it 5 minutes per I guess you'd say round for 5 minutes per track. That gives people enough time to reset multiple times as needed. Unfortunately for me, this also means I have to do 5 laps. Another thing, if you're building a stunt track, like I said, stunt mode will be turned on for this. You actually can't test in stunt mode. Like, you don't get stunt mode until you put it into one of the rooms, which I showed you guys how to do in a different video. You have to select stunt mode when you're creating the room in order for stunt mode to be on for the race. Oh, and that's why you need to be able to reset. Typically, you'll want to put down the best time you can. You built the track, you don't really want anyone else picking the best time. Oh, I'm gonna have to move that. I can't use that. Because I made it a little bit more complicated with these hills, I need to remove that. We'll go ahead and validate again. Now, you always want to remember, when you build a track, your checkpoints aren't there just to make sure people are actually taking the full track. They're also there to give restart points. I mean, if I don't make the jump, like if I didn't make that, I need to be able to hit triangle, restart back at that checkpoint, and still be able to make it. Like that, but I actually need to make it. So you see, this is going to have some complications to it. You're going to have to go far enough over to avoid that. I'm just going to take the cheap shot back on. Yeah. You're going to have to be able to go far enough over to avoid the cliff so that you're closer to the middle, but not so close to the middle that you land in the bad spot. Now, the easy fix for this is to take away that piece of straight track before the bench so that you can just land in the dirt, but I like the challenge of having to land perfect. And what I will do is I will actually put a sign up in front of that at a later date that says stay in the center, because that's pretty much where you need to be. You need to be just kind of left of center in order to land that perfectly. So as you see, I'm just barely left of center. love this car. Being able to just drift all the time. That's another type of track I want to build, is just a hardcore drift track where you're just constantly drifting. It's gonna have to be a flat track. So smooth flat tracks are typically kind of boring. Ooh. But I think being required to drift like that the whole time will make up for it being kind of boring. Yeah, pretty good run. Again, just left of center. See, that landing will be the thing that makes or breaks it. You have 5 chances to wreck there. And if you wreck once, you're going to lose your position. You could be in first place and wreck on the last lap, and you're no longer in first place. That's going to be the interesting bit of the competition, watching people run this track. Like that. Ooh, so close. I was for sure that I was going to wreck on that. Boom. So it's going to be 3 minutes, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to set this track to when it comes to opening up the room for it. But you click save, Trackmania saves the track. I've already shown you guys how to upload it and create a room. So again, I'm going to go back in here later and do some editing. So I'm not going to be uploading it or anything. So thank you all for following along. I know it's kind of a long video. I hope it helps you guys out somehow. Don't be afraid of advanced mode. Advanced mode on any of these is exactly the same. The pieces you get are different though. You don't get the same pieces even in arena. Like, you can get different arena pieces here, different arena pieces here, and so on for all 4 different areas. But yeah, don't be afraid of advanced mode. It's not that complicated. The menus are a little funky to go through, but you have a lot more options. Normal mode is kind of like advanced mode, but it kind of helps you out and shows you what pieces fit, but it also kind of doesn't let you mess with the environment and everything to create more, I guess, obstacles. The only obstacles it really has is the obstacles that are built in. Whereas on advanced mode, you can go through and create your own environment from scratch. You can create ponds, lakes. You can have the entire thing over a lake, except you have to jump off this one piece of land to get back on the track. It's crazy what you can do. Most of the long stunt modes are built in advanced just because of what you can do with it. So again, thank you all for following along. Hope you like what you saw. Follow me on Twitch at Demon02WJ. You can subscribe on YouTube by clicking the link or searching Demon02WJ. Yeah, so when you get on there and start building some tracks, upload your videos and post the links below and I'll check them out. You can add me on Trackmania or on PlayStation 4 if you play Trackmania. It's Army Vet 218. And yeah, let's see what you guys got.